Dear friends, sometimes when we pray, God's answer to us is, but you can do that yourselves. This is what we see in today's gospel, where the disciples are so concerned about the hungry crowd that they pray Jesus to dismiss them so that they could go and buy themselves something to eat. Jesus turns and said to them, hey, you give them something to eat. You can take care of that yourselves. Only then do they remember the small boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish. Jesus blesses the 5 loaves and 2 fish, and to their surprise, that was more than enough to satisfy the enormous hunger of all people. Why did the disciples not think earlier of sharing their provision with the crowd? Is it that they did not care? Yes, they did care, and they did wish the crowd well. But probably they were simply being realistic and practical. Let us face it. 5 loaves and 2 fish is nothing before the hungry crowd of 5,000 men plus women and children. We see this more clearly in the Gospel of St. John, where one of the disciples, Andrew, says to Jesus, there is a boy here who has 5 loaves and 2 fish, but what are they among so many people? The action of faith to which Jesus called his followers often goes beyond the dictates of human logic. The story of miraculous feeding of 5,000, like most stories in the gospel, speak to us today because many of us can identify very readily with the disciples. Like them, we find that our care and compassion is very often limited to prayer and good wishes. Like the disciples, we wish the people well, but have no intention of taking positive action to help the situation. But in the gospel, we see that when we translate our care and compassion into positive action, the little we are able to do is multiplied by the God's grace in such a way that it is become more than sufficient for the need. All that Jesus needs from us to feed the hungry crowds of the world is our 5 loaves and 2 fish. Why didn't Jesus just go on and produce bread from the thin air to feed the crowd? Because God needs our 5 loaves and 2 fish in order to perform the amazing miracle of feeding the 5,000. As individuals, as communities, as a world, we suffer all kinds of hunger. For food, for love, for peace, God is able and willing to satisfy all our hungers. But God is waiting for men and women who believe enough to give up their lunch pack, their 5 loaves and 2 fish, which God needs to make the miracle possible. God bless you.